Senator McKenzie.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr Acting Deputy President. And it gives me great pleasure to stand to contribute tonight on behalf of the Nationals, but on behalf of every single senator, I think, on the coalition government benches, to back this budget in. This is not just a budget for blokes, as the other side wants to make it out to be. This actually is a budget for everyone. And, as I'm reading the motion here before us, the trite structure of the sentence, it's like revert to type, pull out your Marxist doctrine, flip to page 6. The righties are only in it for the millionaires. Well, I tell you what the righties are actually in it for. We're in it for every single Australian, working men and women, young people, people from rural and regional Australia, which I've been sent here to represent. And so, Senator Thorpe, I welcome you to the Senate from our home state of, well, the Republic of Dunistan at the moment, but it is a beautiful place called Victoria. But it is disappointing that you so quickly have picked up the baton of rhetoric from the Greens and want to attack every single thing that rural and regional Australians stand for, what we do in terms of supporting our families. We are the miners, we are the foresters, and we are the manufacturers, and we are the farmers. And we care for our environment, we care for our communities, and we care for our families. And it is COVID-19 that has wrought absolute havoc on rural and regional communities right across the country, not just in Victoria. We've had ravage of drought, we had the horrors of bushfire, we've had the lockdown of COVID-19, and for those rural and regional communities that have been in border towns, it's been absolutely horrific to see the resultant economic and social impact of city-centric decision-making by our state premiers. What we need is a strong vision of recovery, one that provides confidence to families right across our nation, that the resilience that drives regional Australians is indeed felt right throughout our community. And I believe the budget handed down by Josh Frydenberg last night absolutely delivers in spades on that account. Instead of terming it as expanding dirty gas and giving billions in corporate handouts, I think the Treasurer made it very, very clear that our number one sole outcome we're seeking from this budget and our recovery from the pandemic is on jobs, local jobs, for our young people, getting them into apprentices, assisting women back into the workforce, supporting the millions of small businessmen and women right across this country, the very heart of our local communities. Whether you're in a regional city such as Bendigo, or whether a country town such as Benalla, or indeed the suburbs of our great cities, it is the small business community that has really borne the brunt of the COVID-19 pandemic, and they are the ones that will drive our economic recovery. They are the ones that will employ, no matter how big you want to make the public service, everybody, or the charitable organisations that may drive certain areas of your political campaigns. At the end of the day, you have to accept the fact that the vast majority of Australians earn their living working for a small business, for a small to medium enterprise. And so that's what our budget does. So when you say giving corporate handouts to the big end of town, you actually haven't listened to a word our government said or read the budget papers. The reality is the instant asset write-off announced by the Treasurer. I've had call after call after call, email after email after email into my office from farmers and small businesses right throughout Australia saying what a boon this will be to them. And you know what that'll mean? It'll mean they'll be able to keep their employees on the books. It'll mean that small business will actually be able to pay their bills. And so money and local economies will be supported. And that is how we're actually going to recover from the horrors that this global pandemic has actually wrought on our national economy. You say dirty gas. Gosh, dirty gas, hey? Is that like, what is it? Dirty coal, dirty gas. There we go. Thank you, Senator. I'll take that interjection. What we want to see is advanced manufacturing grow and prosper in this country. Right now, 32% of our manufacturing workforce is located out in rural and regional areas. We want to see that expanded and grown. And so we want to make sure that one of the main input costs into manufacturing is actually the cost of electricity. Industrial relations, sometimes an issue. Also, the cost of electricity and any break in the reliability of that electricity supply can cost tens of thousands of dollars, even if it just breaks for a few seconds. That is the reality of running a manufacturing plant, whether it be in food or fibre, whether it be in mineral production, whether it be in our defence manufacturing. That is actually a fact. I'm not making it up because of my ideology. It's science. And you can't just selectively pick pieces of scientific knowledge to suit your own ideological purposes. So if we want to grow manufacturing in this country, if we want to get people employed out in regional Australia, we need to back sourcing cheap, reliable energy. And that means things that we have promised to do, like assess the cost-benefit analysis of a coal-fired power station at Collinsville. It also means backing in, expanding our gas market to ensure that our manufacturing industries have access to affordable and reliable power. It's that simple. We believe that this is the way forward, and it will also have the additional benefit of lowering emissions, because right now we import a lot of stuff from overseas that is not produced using renewable energy, it is not produced using gas, it is not produced using beautiful high calorific black coal of central Queensland. It is produced with very, very high emissions. And so this actually is something that, if you were honest with yourselves and accepted the science, you would actually choose to support. Right out in the regions, we've got a nearly $280 billion mining industry and a $60 billion agriculture industry. We want to be not just exporting that raw product to the markets of the world, but to adding value here at home, creating highly sustainable, rewarding careers in the advanced manufacturing sector going forward. It's been a big push of our budget, and I'm very, very proud to be part of the government that is backing that part of our economy in, because we've seen a significant decrease from being nearly 30% of our economy down to around 5%. And that's not a good thing. I want to see more manufacturing, as does everybody in the National Party. Our emissions reduction strategy is focused on technology, not on taxes. We think we can actually walk and chew gum at the same time. We can support our community and our country to recover from COVID-19 through this budget. We can get people employed, and we can also reduce emissions to fulfil our international targets. This is central to our ongoing economic recovery. A gas-fired recovery is a key component to our JobMaker plan, while we're building a robust and competitive gas industry with lower prices and lower emissions, because gas will be a critical enabler of Australia's economy. Our technology investment roadmap will guide the deployment of $18 billion of government investment between now and 2030, including through the CEC, ARENA, the Climate Solutions Fund and the Clean Energy Regulator. The roadmap will leverage that to drive at least $50 billion worth of investment through the private sector, state governments, research institutions and publicly funded bodies, supporting 130,000 jobs. That is good news. That is great news. So, as you can see, our side of the chamber is focused on supporting hard-working Australians, particularly those in our regions. We're focused on new technologies to create jobs and at the same time cut emissions and power bills. You can do it all. It will be okay. You don't need to ruin people's lives and livelihoods to pursue your emissions reduction targets. The Nationals in government will continue to support mature technologies where there is clear market failure, like the shortage in dispatchable generation we're seeing at the moment.
Authorised by Bridget McKenzie, National Party of Australia, Wodonga.